Hi, everybody. This yoga reset session today is called a check for your neck. So we're going to be checking in with our neck and cervical spine. For a lot of us, especially during this past year, we have been working from home, from our computers. So you might be spending so much time with that screen that the head is finding itself in this forward position, shortening a lot of this musculature back here, the cervical spine, and really putting, a lot of pressure on those muscles to hold it back. So today will be all about finding a little bit of alignment for that cervical spine, getting it, back into its natural curves with the thorax and the lumbar here, and then also finding ways to activate our shoulders and some other muscle groups, even the core, so that we can hold our neck longer and stronger, and so it won't feel like it's working so hard throughout the day, even when we are working on the computer. I have a yoga block with me. You might find it helpful for some of the moves we do today, but it's not necessarily required for anything we're doing. First, come down onto your back with your feet on the floor, not to be super close to you or anything, but we just want to feel our spine come down onto the ground. And so since we're really focusing on the neck, I want you to bring your mind there first and notice if even the neck is shortened here. So if the chin lifts on you, you might want to pull it down and pulling it in towards the chest. We don't want to like overly tuck it or anything. We're going to still keep that little natural curve, but we're just bringing that space there to the back. You'll feel your shoulders on the back and the back of the pelvis, your sacrum's in contact with the floor. So we still have our little natural low back curve. You'll bring your arms down by your side here just to make some space, and just take an inhale here and feel this space for the neck. Allowing yourself to exhale completely and fully, maybe even out through the mouth to really give a little bit of force to that exhalation and to really send all the breath through the body. Another one like this, and then begin to move the neck just a bit. So now that we have some alignment here with the skull, aligned with the shoulders, we just add a little rotation. So keeping your neck long here still, we're going to bring our chin over towards the right side, just kind of letting our gaze drop and reducing that space between the chin and the collarbone here. And then bring yourself back to center, and you'll lower your gaze over to the left-hand side. And again, just allowing a little rotation here in the cervical spine. So don't be quick or anything like that. We don't want to whiplash the neck, but we're just going to gently move our head from side to side here, allowing ourselves to rotate through center, dropping chin over towards the opposite shoulder, and then bring it back through center. And again, notice if the chin wants to lift on you, if those neck muscles are working in that tendency to want to fire up for you. So we're just giving them a little opportunity to space out through that breath, through this movement and the alignment. Next time you come over to the right shoulder, we can keep our gaze over towards here, and let's take 2 breaths here, all the way in. And feel those natural curves of the spine responding to the breath. Inhaling as they elongate and flatten a bit. Exhaling, letting that core draw in. And then you'll bring yourself back through center with a big inhale here. And drop your left side over, so your chin is coming over towards that left shoulder. Take another inhale here. And exhale. Inhale again. And exhale. Again, just allowing yourself to breathe a little bit of space into that right side. We'll bring ourselves back through center. And just since we will be moving a little bit, we'll keep our neck long here, but we'll start to activate the glutes. So you can even give them a little awareness, a little pat and tap, especially where the legs plug into the glutes. That can really help that hamstring to glute connection fire up. So we can really clearly, as we press into our feet, extend our hips. And so you're just rooting your tailbone to the heels, feeling a little extension into the hips, keeping the neck long here. Again, notice that chin had a tendency to lift, shorten on you here. And then bring your mind to the big toe mounds where each big toe plugs into your feet, and start to lift and lower your heels here. So we're just gonna hold our little extension here, lifting and lowering the heels, stretch out our wrists real quick. So you can spread the fingers of the right hand, pull back on those right four fingers, and even let the right thumb venture away from the center of the palm. Let's get like 2 big breaths here. In through the side ribs, like almost as if they were gills, right? Pulling that air in. Inhaling again. We'll release right wrist, and we'll start to stretch out that left. You can bring your heels down, but we'll still hold our little extension here. So you should be feeling a good little resonation of heat. Again, if it feels like the low back is working a lot for you here, then come down a little bit lower. You'll stay off the ground, but you'll squeeze your glutes more. You'll root your tailbone even more. One more breath. Even left thumb pulls away from the center of the palm. We release that and circle left wrist. And then take that a few times the other way. Bring arms back by our side and bring yourself down. With an exhale, you can lower 1 vertebrae at a time until we find that sacrum. Back down on the ground, and we just kind of feel those natural curves of the spine elongate. Now, this will challenge our neck to stay long as we activate our core. We're all going to come up onto our forearms here, and bringing your elbows under your shoulders, grab your edges of your mat real quick and pretend like you're trying to rip it apart. So you should feel your shoulder blades retract together. This is a position we're going to want to kind of hold them in here, so we have a nice stable base of support. You are welcome to keep holding the edges of your mat to try and pull it apart here. It's a great way to keep the shoulders on. Or you can bring your hands onto the lower portion of your ribs to really try and keep that knitted in here. And then notice where the neck is. So even for me, like, big inspiration for this class is my tendency to send that head forward. So we want to draw just a little bit of energy back, like the throat is pulling into the back of the neck. Feel that skull in line with the shoulders. Take an inhale here, feel the expansion around the ribs. And an exhale, feel everything drawn towards center. Then kick your left leg forward. The right foot's still on the ground. You want to spread those left toes and really open up that left foot. Neck stays in line, left foot comes down, and then right foot comes forward. Spread those right toes. The right foot comes down, the left foot kicks forward. Spread the toes. You don't have to fully straighten the knees. The other leg kicks. So work with how much openness is in those legs. That's not necessarily the goal here. Here, we're just trying to maintain a good, strong cylinder of the core, breathing with it as we extend one knee at a time, and also keeping that neck in line, noticing if it has that tendency to want to pull us forward, want to hold us up. Is it doing too much work for you? Can you let that neck go a little bit by leaning it back and then pull into the core? Second option here is to keep your legs extended and then alternate them. So you're welcome to keep the legs on the ground, or if you feel you want a little bit more fire for that core, just take this and we'll do a few more breaths here. So strong core is not just one that can fire up and engage, but can also move and breathe and maintain its stability. Keep spreading the toes. It's a good tip to keep the energy in the legs. All right, and then we'll bring both legs on down, come around onto quadruped. And here's one of those places where the block will be optional, but can be very helpful and informative. So for quadruped, your hands will come under your shoulders, your knees will be under your hips, or even a good bit closer towards your hands here. You really can't have them too close there. And if you have your block, what you can do is bring it right onto your sacrum here. So just at the base of the spine, right at the back of the pelvis there, you're going to sit your block on its lowest setting. And that'll help give you a little bit of awareness if that pelvis tends to tip or shift on you as we start to move our legs. That's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to plop off, and then you're going to stop and reset it so that you can get that awareness into the back of the pelvis. But check in with your quadruped here with your hands on the ground. Feel push your palms into the floor, and then check in with that neck. So right off the bat, lift your gaze and then pull your chin in towards the chest. Still feel that little energy drawing up, like your throat's pulling into the back of the neck. Grab the floor with your fingertips. Feel like you could dial your left hand out to the left and your right hand out to the right, but they won't really move. We're just sending a little energy up the forearms, into the triceps, onto those back shoulder blades. Then another big inhale, big expansion here. Exhale, feel it all pull together. We'll tuck our toes here, another inhale. And then exhale, slide your left leg back. Now with your left toes behind you, you're gonna press into them and begin to bend and extend. The real trick here is to be able to bend and extend those toes without letting the head droop down. So totally fine to take a little look back and make sure your toes are working, but then bring your neck back up and in line. And again, feel like that throat is lifting into the back of the neck. And so here too, we have that block on the back. It might be come for a little ride. So if it falls off here, that'll be a-okay. You might just be getting into it, or it could show I might just need to be keeping that pelvis a little bit more steady. But we'll just go with another 3, 2, and 1. You'll have your left toe still on the ground behind you. And then we're gonna keep our left foot on the ground, but take your right elbow, bend it, rotate it up, and just rotate through the ribs here. Here's where that block is gonna be really useful and informative. If it falls off, a little sign we might be tipping the pelvis. Let the left ear go to the left shoulder, take a big breath here. So my right palm facing away from my face, I'm pushing into the left big toes, getting a big rotation for the whole body here, letting the left ear go to the left shoulder and stretching out that right side of the neck. One more breath. Right hand comes down, left knee comes down. From here again, get a little check. So feel that throat lift into the back of the neck. We'll tuck our toes, slide the right leg back. You might even give a little check in with the block at the back and then push into that right big toe mound. So right glute really fired up here. We're even getting a little stretch into our wrists as we push it forward and back and feel that glute engage. Continue to root the tailbone. Breathing here, let every exhale encourage that front line to draw up and back. And again, you're welcome to look back at that toe, make sure it's actually pushing and extending your ankle, but then make sure your skull gets back in line with the shoulders. Don't just let it sag down. Don't let anything collapse towards the floor. We want a lifted, light feeling here. All right, and then you'll continue to press into the right big toe mound, but you'll slow that little heel bop down. Right hand stays down, and we're gonna go our little twist here. So bring the left elbow up, point the left palm away from you, take a little rotation to the left here. Let your right ear fall to the right shoulder. Big stretch for the left side of the neck. Big breath here. And exhale. There's a lot of core engagement, but there's connections from our neck to our core. So if we can hold that core steady while we're rotating here, we can give our neck a chance to release. One more breath. And unwind. Right knee comes down next to that left. Remove the block from on top of the pelvis. And then from here, hands will be under the shoulders. Tuck your toes. Take an inhale here. Exhale, press in your hands, puff up in between your shoulders, hover your knees, and then hoist your pelvis directly up towards the ceiling for downward facing dog. So have a little mini flow here. Step your right foot forward, bring your left knee down. And then come up to 90-90 low lunge. Arms can reach forward and up to start. Then we'll bring our left hand behind our skull and our right hand to the back of the pelvis at the sacrum. So we're pulling our skull into that left palm. We're using our right hand to root the tailbone here, draw the shoulder blades together. You'll kind of have your elbows pointing out to the side here. So it's just that little check-in, our skull, our scapula, and our sacrum all aligned together. Left glute is working, one more breath. And then we'll hold this position of our hands, but tuck the left toes and open up to a goddess facing the left. Sit into the left hips. We're rolling the thighs out. We keep our right hand behind the pelvis, keep rooting that tailbone, left hand behind the skull, just finding that alignment in our goddess. We're not tipping it forward, spilling into the low back. Then from here, you'll bring your arms down by your side, lift and lower the shoulders, do nice little shoulder bops here. Continue to keep the skull in line. It can be so freeing, so great to release those shoulders. A couple more times, big inhale, exhale. Awesome. Then slow your shoulder bops down. We'll windmill, hands come back to the front of the mat, land them, step your right leg back to meet your left, lower your knees to the ground and lower all the way to the ground. Keep the head of your arm bones lifted, and you can bring your block either under your forehead or bring your forehead all the way to the ground. We're going to keep our head down on the ground. Come to a wide cobra by bringing your fingertips in line with your shoulders and slightly off of your mat.
Pop up onto the fingertips, the palms lift, elbows point up. Big breath in here. Inhale into your low back and root the tailbone. Exhale, pull those shoulder blades together and try and pull your fingers back. They won't really move much, but you should start to feel some relief for the neck. 2 more like that. Inhale, filling into the back, rooting the tailbone. And exhaling, shoulders together and depress them, squeeze them down. 1 more. Neck stays long, neck stays long. If the forehead lifts off the floor, that's fine, but it's not the chin that's lifting. It's just kind of coming along with the shoulders. Then we'll bring ourselves down. Hands return back by the ribs, push into the palms, up through plank, fold yourself in half, downward facing dog. Use the strength of the abdominals to lift you up. Step your left foot forward, bring your right knee down, 90-90 low lunge. See if you can do that without picking up the hands. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. Right hand comes behind the skull, left hand comes behind the sacrum. We squeeze those shoulders together, pull that skull back into the right palm. Use the left hand, encourage that tailbone to root to the floor and lift that right glute up and in towards that left hand. 1 more breath here. And open up the goddess. So you take those tucked right toes, you roll the right thigh out, fit into the hips. Our hands here just help us keep that sacrum, that skull in line. And this will be a little bit different. We'll reach the arms out. Bring your right forearm to your right thigh, a little side bend here. So left arm reaches over, and again, we can let that right ear go. Take 1 breath here. We use the inhale to come back up. 3 goddess, left forearm to left thigh. Now right arm over right ear to left shoulder. Full breath. Take 1 more, up. Middle of goddess with the inhale, and then over to the back of the mat. Left arm reaches over. Keep pressing your left foot into the floor. Really feel that right ear go. And then back up. Spine comes from that little lateral flexion to a little lateral flexion the other way. Left ear to the left shoulder. Rise back up. And we're going to take a big windmill. Pick up those right heel, land the right hand, step the left foot back. You can use your knees or lower all the way to the ground, head of the arm bone, stay lifted. Wide cobra. So again, forehead down on the ground, on the block. Anything works. Bring your hands wider than the mat and up by your shoulders, up onto the fingertips. Inhale here, fill up the back and root the tailbone. Exhale, pull back with your fingers, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Inhale, fill it up. Exhale, squeeze together and pull back. 1 more. And squeeze shoulders together, draw them back, give that space for the neck by activating the shoulders. And release, hands come back by your side, press into the palms. And come back to down dog. And then from here, walk your hands towards your feet to come to 1 final forward fold. So we'll drape the torso over the thighs. Keep a little lift of the core. Keep your ribs on your thighs. You can bend your knees as much as you want. You can be on the palms, the fingertips. You're also welcome to walk your hands out a little bit here and grab the mat. Release your neck. Just give it a little nod. Maybe a little nod. No. A little nod. Yes. Keep pressing into the feet a little. Just create that little feedback into the floor and grab the floor a little bit with your fingertips or your hands. Let those shoulders activate with it too. Breathe in your whole back, and as you exhale, feel the front line lift into the back line. Give yourself that hug in the front of the spine. And then we'll walk it back out into our down dog. Bring our knees down, and from quadruped, we'll sit it back for child's pose. This will be our final little move. You do a lot of things for the neck here, but trying to keep the class short, we'll just bring it down with our forehead down. And from here, and I'll move my one hand aside so you can really see, you can just nod your head from side to side if that feels good. This is a great way to just relieve those brow muscles from the forebrow Anything else that feels good, roll the wrist, full side stretch. And when you're ready, you'll make your way up. So feel free to stay there as long as you like. I hope this helps. You check in with your neck. Notice if it is feeling a little bit tight or out of sorts, that just a little shoulder activation, a little bit of realignment can really help it out here. So as always, the space of me honors that space inside of you, and I'm back to that space. Have a great day.